All right. So, a few things I want to talk about today. And I think they're very important. I hope that you stick with me and hear what I'm saying. Right now, there are two pandemics that are going on right now. And one of them is being covered, while the other one is not receiving any coverage. And so I want to obviously state that everybody's worried about COVID and the pandemic. And I think I seen yesterday on the news briefly for 1 second as I was traveling through this store that COVID cases was on the rise yet again. Okay, so that's receiving media coverage. Now let's talk about the other epidemic that's not receiving any coverage, and that is homelessness. Homelessness in the United States right now is running rampant and is happening every single day to good people that are not on drugs, people that attended college, people who are good, earnest, hardworking people. And it's because we've been plugged into this system and we are being willing participants at this point in the system of, high prices on education, buying things to impress people, spending more money than we make. Everybody does it. Nobody's too far away from each other as far as money is concerned. Like, we're all kind of simmering in the same pot. I mean, unless you got some wealth or something like that, you got something passed down, you got some generational money that's just been going on since the beginning of time. Unless you got a situation like that going on, then you safe. But other than that, ain't none of us really that safe. Homelessness can strike for any of us almost at any time, depending on, the situation. People went to school, they went to college, they got out of college, they got a job, they got a new car, they got an apartment, they got credit card bills, they got all types of shit going on, when they get out of college. And this is a problem, because this is what's leading people to homelessness. They have spun more money than they're making. Their income is 40, 50, 60, 70,000, and even some of these people $100,000. But their outcome is much more than that. Some of these people, they make $60,000 a year, but they're $225,000 in debt. So at the end of the year, they're always at zero. No matter what, they're behind zero. And this is most of us, and this is what's happening. Now, it's like people are folding now. And people have been folding for a long time, and they're not reporting this. This is really going on. And, I'm not here to say all of you guys are not far from that, but this is why we need community and family, and we need to come together. Because it can strike for any one of us at any time. It's such a huge thing, and nobody is talking about it. Like, people got out of college, they got these good jobs, and then the bills start coming in. Then people start getting stressed, anxiety, all this shit takes over them, and then they're possessed, and then they're stuck, and then they might even still become homeless. Homelessness is really happening right now. So that is not a small thing. Like, people that went to college, good people, they out on the streets. They out on the fucking streets. And we need to wake up and pay attention to this shit. And we really need to try to figure out how we can start to love one another and come together and start to build something, because there is something at play here that's not being promoted, that's not being advertised, and it is harming people. It is making people putting people out on the streets to homelessness. We're talking about people that can read and write and that got all A's in school and all this other type of shit. Like, good fucking hard, regular, smart people is being put out on the fucking streets because we've been forced this fucking way of living. And now the system is coming back and picking people out and putting them out on the fucking streets by the hundreds, by the thousands, by the hundreds of thousands. Go to any major city right now and look around at all the homeless people. You can even go to some communities, like people is fucking homeless. It's fucking crazy. And we can't be so arrogant to think that it can't happen to one of us, because we ain't far away from this shit. This shit is close up on our asses. That's why we need to come together, love, and stop trying to be better than one another, because we're not better than, nobody's better than nobody. I mean, we're all human people. I mean, like one human can't be possible higher than another. Now, one can think that, but in all actuality, no one person can be better than another person, because we're all people. So, but only one person that's crazy could think that they some better than another person, or another person can think that they're lesser than somebody. But we're all the fucking same. So no matter what type of labels, clothes and shit that we have, we ain't better than each other. We're not. We're all just like the same shit. I mean, you just gotta just be aware of that. I mean, and love each other and stop looking at each other as if we're different, because this is how they're creating division. I mean, and keeping people basically asleep to the real situation at hand, because we having these very small petty fights about, oh, my clothes is better than yours, and my car is better than yours, and my hair is longer than yours, and that's and all this other stupid shit, that when homelessness happened to you, you ain't even gonna see it coming, because you was so caught up in this fictional world that they want you to stay caught up in. But there's a whole nother thing that's going on. Like, reality is happening. Reality is people are becoming homeless and people are not saying anything. And the reality is we are more separated and more divided than we have ever been too. So it's like a thing that's going side to side. So we got to try to put our differences aside, drop our ego, be vulnerable to one another, learn how to love each other, and all see each other as higher people than what we are, instead of downing each other. All this shit can go away and we all can live a good life, because it's all about our own individual contributions to life. So, but if we all make one grand contribution for each other, life will be better for everybody. I mean, but we have to wake up and pay attention to this. We need to start loving each other right now, because who knows what can happen. Like, if we're all divided, anything can come and capture us, and there will be nothing done about it, because we were all paying attention to something else, and we could end up and go to some place that we don't want to go because nobody was paying attention. But if we love each other and look after each other and try to contribute to each other's lives, then this monster goes away. But if we don't pay attention to what's going on, we can all end up out on the streets, homeless, poor, broke, destitute, and sick. And it's not above any of us, because they got us all surrounded in this chaos and this stupid shit, as I like to call it. But we're all here we should just be loving one another. I mean, and really pay attention to homelessness, and try to figure out how you can get with your family and combine y'all forces. I mean, for the betterment of the family and the empowerment of the family. How can y'all come together and give each other y'all time, energy, resources, and, you know, put that shit together and make the family stronger and better, and stop giving our energy away to things that don't give a fuck about us. So we need to come back to love and try to figure this shit out. Try to see how we can come together and love one another, and, you know, build for the future, because nobody's looking after us. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody coming to save us. Ain't nobody gonna grant us shit. Ain't nobody gonna do nothing for us. You know what I mean? They're not gonna do anything for us. So we gotta be the ones that look after each other, that look after each other's future, because that's important. That we look out for each other's future and what's to come. Survival, better lives, how to live, preparation. I mean, we need to try to figure out how we can come back together as a whole, as a collective, with love, peace, harmony, and all the other things that we need that's essential for a prosperous life and a fulfilling life. We need to turn our backs away from individualism, labels, limits, hatred, separation, that is all no good. I mean, we need togetherness, love, oneness, together, harmony, and all look at each other as good, as higher beings, and stop hating on one another, and stop looking down on each other, and stop thinking that we better than people because we got some sort of label that really don't mean nothing.